Hello, everyone. Lenny Pinna here in my living space in Garberville, California. I'm on top of a mountain and it is a delightful day, very sunny as you can see. And I thought I would make myself a little lunch. And I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to make and to show you the warm goat cheese salad. And one of the reasons is that in many of my other videos, cooking videos, I have mentioned my association with Chez Panisse, and some people have asked me to tell more stories about that. So I thought in combination while I'm making this warm goat cheese salad that I would make some comments about stories about Chez Panisse as well. First of all, I worked there for about 15 years, and for those who don't know, Chez Panisse is a very famous restaurant in the food world. Back in 1971, founder Alice Waters and friends opened up a restaurant in Berkeley, California that began the back to the farm, to the table experience, organic, know your farmer, know your rancher, and it has been a icon of a restaurant ever since. So I had the opportunity to work there for 15 years. Now, I was not a chef. I want to be very clear about that. I was a waiter. And the one thing about Chez Panisse is the staff are very interrelated because it's an open kitchen. So the chefs are cooking out in the open where, customers can actually see, and waiters communicate to the chefs in front of everybody. And so there's a lot of good relationship there with the cooks. I developed a good relationship, and I would ask questions about things. First of all, they would make the menu every day, because the menu changed every day, and they would explain what the ingredients were and how they came together, how they made it. Then we would watch them make it as well throughout the evening. And then if I had questions, I would ask questions as well. So I learned a lot by watching. And in my life, I also do a lot of experimenting. I'm not really a recipe person in general. So it really suited me to really observe, to learn, to ask questions. So I'm coming from that perspective as far as having been affiliated with Chez Panisse. So they had a salad on the menu, one item that did not change. Every day the menu changed, or pretty much throughout the week it changed. But one menu item always stayed, and it was the warm goat cheese salad. And I used to say that people would scream if they took it off the menu. It was very popular. And it has a French origin of a warm goat cheese with like a lettuce with vinaigrette. And I'm going to be using today this Laura Chanel goat cheese from Sonoma County. And this was what originally Chez Panisse was using in their goat cheese salad. Amazing, and I look forward to showing you about that. So I'm going to also be using some spring mix lettuce, and I will show you now how to coat the goat cheese and get it ready for warming up. I'm going to be using a broiler. It's really easy to use if you have a toaster oven. I don't have a toaster oven at the moment, so I've always used my broiler. And so I just have to be more careful, of course. So anyway, I'm going to get started with showing you how to coat the goat cheese first. The first thing I'm going to do is coat it with olive oil, and I use extra virgin olive oil. You, of course, could use a lighter olive oil if you don't like that sort of very spicy, pungent taste of the virgin olive oil. And or you could use avocado oil or grapeseed oil if you want a lighter, cleaner sort of taste so that you get more of the pronounced goat cheese without any effect. Now, it depends on how much you're going to make. I'm not going to make this whole 8 ounces. I would probably get about 6. The size I'm going to be cutting, I'm going to be cutting rounds. I probably get 3 per half out of this log. I'm only going to make 2 because this is just for me. If I were having guests over, I would make more, obviously. So I'm just going to pour enough olive oil to basically coat at least 2 of the rounds. So it doesn't need that much. And then I have I'm using Italian breadcrumbs, and of course you can use plain breadcrumbs if you like. I'm going to go with that little bit of Italian breadcrumb. And it's okay if I pour a little bit extra in this because I will eventually make more of those rounds, so I can save that. Here's what I do. I add some grated Romano cheese. And I'm going to use this microplane to do it really fine to the breadcrumbs. And what not only does that add a little flavor, but it adds salt. So I'm not going to actually put salt on the goat cheese. I'm going to let the salt arrive through the breadcrumbs. And I think that adds a nice flavor to it. All right. So now the cutting. I'm going to say, let's see, I'm going to think about in half first. Yeah, we might get, actually you might get 4 per half in this. I'm going to cut this in half again. I like some, make sure that I have some nice thick rounds. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do these 2 pretty thick rather than thin. So I'd say over a half, between half and 3/4 is what I would do, because I like a nice proportion of cheese to breadcrumb. All right. Take the cheese and roll it in the olive oil. And then I'm going to put it in the breadcrumb. I should follow my rule with eggplant and only use one hand for one thing and one hand for the other so that I don't get them all goopy. I already kind of touched a little both. But just coating this nicely so that it looks like that. And put it in my pan and get my other one. Roll olive oil with this hand and breadcrumb with this hand. Boy, I probably just made enough breadcrumbs for these 2. Usually I do an abundance. I never know how to just do a little bit, but I managed to do pretty good well today. So my second one is coated. So that's all there is to coating. So I've turned the broiler on, and now I'm going to make a vinaigrette for the salad. I'm going to use a lighter olive oil for the salad. I don't want it to have that heavy taste on all of the lettuce. Sometimes I do, but in this case, I don't want it to compete with the goat cheese. So the proportions is usually like 3/4 oil, 1/4 vinegar. So this is a little light olive oil. I'm going to use red wine vinegar, a little bit of that. And I'm going to add a touch of balsamic vinegar just to give it a little sweetness. Just a touch. This recipe, I'll call it a recipe, but it's sort of the Chez Panisse house vinaigrette. Has these components. Garlic will be next. I'm going to crush a clove of garlic. Okay. Then I'm going to put some salt. And my black pepper. And a little bit of dry mustard. Okay, just a touch. Shake it up. Ooh, it looks good. Has that, slight beigey, caramely. I'm going to taste it. Delicious. Ooh, that's going to be nice. Okay, so now I have the vinaigrette. Get my lettuce ready. So after I've rinsed the lettuce and did the spin dry, I'm actually going to dry it just a little bit more on the towel. This is one time where I want the coating of the dressing, of course, not to be watered down in any way. Okay, and I'm going to let that even dry a little further while I put the goat cheese into the broiler. That's a little bit of the scary part because I have to watch it with a broiler. It could go very fast, but I'm going to get the salad ready by putting some dressing into the bowl, tossing the lettuce in. Okay. The cook said Japanese hand toss the salads, hand dress it, which I love. All right. And I'm going to put that on a plate. I might have dressed just a touch heavier than I wanted to. I'm going to check on the goat cheese here. We wanted to get like a little bit of a golden crust, and when you sort of touch it, you can almost feel like a little bit of a soft pillowiness. It's getting there. I think I just want a little bit more of a golden crust on it. While I'm waiting just a few more moments for the goat cheese, I'm going to taste. This is the arugula part. I'm definitely happy with the vinaigrette. Perfect. We're going to check it again. I think this is where I want it. So I'm going to remove these and put them on the plate. So this can be the tricky part, is to try to gently get the goat cheese. Yeah, I just broke one. There it is. Probably have the wrong utensil. You try to slide it under. There we go. This one's a little better. Well, I definitely broke one. So we try, of course, for perfection. But this is the goat cheese salad, and I'm going to taste it now. Having the right utensil is really the trick to getting those out. I needed a thinner, almost like a little bit of a cake knife to do it. So anyway, what the best thing, what you do with this salad to really enjoy it, you can either get a couple of leaves and the cheese at the same time. The texture of that goat cheese, like a cloud, just like a little pillow cloud, warm. You can also go back and forth and start with the cheese, so you really can taste that on your tongue. And then you keep cutting it with the vinaigrette from the salad. Both experiences are great. I kind of definitely like at times to just have the cheese with the breadcrumb warm. So the back and forth might be my favorite, but there's nothing wrong with getting a little of it at the same time. So hopefully you could see how easy it is to make this salad, and for yourself or for your company. My friends are always very impressed when I make it for them. And, you know, if you're going to make a sizable salad, maybe you're having soup and salad, you put 2 rounds with the lettuce. But you can also just do a little clump of lettuce in 1 round if you're doing sort of like an appetizer and then other courses. So, you know, you can play around with the proportions, but it is a winner, and I know that people love it. So I highly recommend it. Try it for yourself or with your guests. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.